Have you ever thought about how tragic Remus Lupin's fate truly was? What if his life was even harder than Harry Potter's, filled with pain, loss, and sacrifice? In today's video, you will discover the untold struggles of one of the most tragic characters in the wizarding world. Remus Lupin's story is one of sorrow and resilience. Born a half-blood wizard, his life changed forever when a cruel revenge turned him into a werewolf at the age of 5. His father's careless words against werewolves enraged Fenrir Greyback, a future Death Eater who attacked the young boy, cursing him with lycanthropy. From that night on, every full moon became a nightmare, transforming into a beast, craving flesh, losing himself in an uncontrollable hunger. His parents feared he would never be accepted into Hogwarts, but Albus Dumbledore gave him a chance. A secret sanctuary was created for him, the infamous Shrieking Shack, where he endured lonely, painful transformations. Despite his fears of rejection, he found true friendship in James Potter, Sirius Black, and Peter Pettigrew. They did the unthinkable, became animagi, to support him through his suffering. For the first time, Remus felt he wasn't alone. After school, his life took a darker turn. The war against Voldemort raged on, and he fought alongside the Order of the Phoenix, but one by one he lost everything. James and Lily were murdered. Sirius, his closest friend, was branded a traitor. Peter was presumed dead. With no family, no friends, and no future, Remus wandered in despair, struggling to find work. Society saw him as nothing more than a monster. Isolated and broken, he withdrew from the world. Then Dumbledore returned with an offer that reignited a spark of hope. Remus became a professor at Hogwarts, teaching defense against the dark arts. He was a brilliant teacher, beloved by students. But the past came crashing back. When Sirius escaped Azkaban, everything changed. The truth unraveled. Sirius was innocent, and Peter was the real traitor. Yet before justice could be served, Remus made one fatal mistake. He forgot to take his wolfsbane potion, lost control, and transformed in front of everyone. His secret was out. Fearing he had put students in danger, he resigned, once again an outcast. When Voldemort returned, Remus rejoined the Order, risking his life as a spy among werewolves. He met and fell in love with Nymphadora Tonks, but guilt consumed him. Could a werewolf have a family? Could he protect them? Despite his fears, he and Tonks married and had a son, Teddy. For the first time in his life, Remus had something to live for. But happiness was fleeting. The final battle for Hogwarts began, and he fought bravely. He faced Antonin Dolohov in a duel that would be his last. His wife, Tonks, perished soon after, at the hands of Bellatrix Lestrange. Their newborn son was left an orphan, just like Harry. Remus Lupin was posthumously awarded the Order of Merlin First Class, the first werewolf to ever receive it. His death marked a turning point in the relationship between wizards and werewolves. His life was one of endless struggle, loss, and sacrifice. He was a man who had every reason to give in to bitterness, yet he remained kind, brave, and loyal until the very end. And that is what makes him one of the most extraordinary characters in the entire Harry Potter series. Few wizards have endured as much pain as Remus Lupin. His life was a constant battle, a series of losses that seemed endless. But what made him truly remarkable was the way he carried that burden with quiet dignity, unwavering loyalty, and a heart that refused to turn bitter. Even in the darkest moments, he chose kindness over resentment, sacrifice over self-pity. As a child, Remus learned quickly that he was different. His parents did everything to protect him, but the world was cruel to those like him. The full moon became his worst enemy. Each transformation was agony, bones shifting, mind clouded, instincts taking over. He feared himself. He feared what he could do, but there was no escape. It was his curse to bear. Hogwarts was both salvation and torment. He was given the chance to study magic, but at what cost? He lived in constant fear of being exposed. Every month he endured isolation in the shrieking shack, his screams echoing through the night, drowning in pain no child should experience. He told himself he could never have real friends, never truly belong. But James, Sirius, and Peter proved him wrong. They saw past the curse. They accepted him, stood by him, and even risked everything to become animagi just so he wouldn't suffer alone. It was the first time in his life that he felt hope. Their friendship was everything to him. They were his family, his brothers. For the first time, he laughed without fear, made mischief, felt alive. But even then, a part of him held back. He never fully allowed himself to believe it could last. Deep down, he knew happiness was fleeting. And he was right. The war took everything. James and Lily were gone. Sirius was sent to Azkaban, condemned for a crime he didn't commit. Peter was dead, though the truth was far more twisted. Remus was left with nothing but memories. He wandered through life, alone once more, the world seeing only a monster where a man stood. He tried to find work, but no one would hire a werewolf. He spent years in poverty, surviving on scraps, forced into the shadows of society. Then Dumbledore appeared again, offering him a position at Hogwarts. For the first time in years, Remus had a purpose. Teaching brought him joy. He saw himself in the students, young minds eager to learn, full of dreams. He wanted to give them what he never had. But his happiness was short-lived. The past came crashing back. Sirius had escaped. The wizarding world was in a panic, convinced a murderer was on the loose. And then came the truth, a revelation so shocking it turned everything he believed upside down. Peter was alive. Sirius was innocent. Everything he had mourned, everything he had lost had been a lie. And just when he thought he had found redemption, he made one mistake. He forgot his potion. He transformed. He lost control. The next morning, the looks of fear were all he needed to see. He didn't wait for Dumbledore to ask him to leave. He resigned, packed his things, and disappeared once more into the shadows. When Voldemort returned, Remus didn't hesitate. He rejoined the Order of the Phoenix, risking his life as a spy among werewolves. It was dangerous, but he had no choice. If the Dark Lord turned them to his side, the war would be lost. He walked among them, pretending to be one of them, though he never truly belonged. He saw the desperation, the anger, the pain of those who had been cast aside. He understood them, but he couldn't follow them. He fought for the world that had rejected him because he still believed in its goodness. And then there was Tonks. She was everything he never thought he deserved, young, full of life, unafraid of the darkness that surrounded him. She saw him not as a werewolf, but as a man. He tried to push her away. He told her she deserved better. But she never listened. She loved him even when he couldn't love himself. And slowly, against all odds, he let himself love her back. Their happiness was brief. The war loomed over them. When she became pregnant, his fear grew unbearable. What if the child inherited his curse? What if he became the reason his son suffered as he had? He considered leaving, running away, sparing them from the burden of his existence. But Harry stopped him. Harry, the boy who had lost everything, reminded him of what truly mattered. And so he stayed. He held his son in his arms and knew for the first time what it meant to have a family. But fate was never kind to Remus Lupin. The final battle began, and he knew he had to fight. He kissed his wife one last time, whispered words of love, and stepped onto the battlefield. He faced Antonin Dolohov, one of the deadliest Death Eaters, and fought with everything he had. But even the strongest warriors can fall. A curse struck him down, and the world faded to black. Nearby, Tonks fought for her life, refusing to leave his side. She fell soon after, her final breath taken by Bellatrix Lestrange. When the dust settled, their bodies lay side by side. A love story cut short by war. Their son, Teddy, would never know them. Another orphan left behind, another casualty of Voldemort's reign. But Remus Lupin's legacy didn't end there. He was honoured posthumously, awarded the Order of Merlin First Class. The first werewolf to ever receive such recognition. A symbol of change. A sign that the world was finally beginning to see past the curse. His story is one of tragedy, but also of hope. He fought not just against dark wizards, but against the prejudices of his own kind. He proved that a werewolf could be more than a beast. He was a friend, a mentor, a husband, a father, a hero. His life was never easy. His happiness was always fleeting. But he never let the darkness consume him. He died as he lived, fighting for